Right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to look at the location factor of transport, infrastructure, the availability of water and electricity too. So why does a business need a good transport facility? Well, number one, it needs to receive what it requires in order to operate. So if I am selling hot dogs, I need to be able to get those raw materials to me quite easily. Also, I need to be able to deliver those orders to my customers. So there needs to be roads, railway lines, air freight. That needs to be in place in order for my business to take place. It needs to carry my customers to and from my actual location. So it could even be if we look in the tourist industry, how is someone going to get down to the south coast? Are the toll roads open? Is there going to be a lot of concessions along that toll road? The last thing we need to consider is in terms of transport, how are my employees going to get to and from work? So there really are three people that we're quite reliant on in our business in terms of getting them to and from our place, and that is the suppliers, the customers, as well as the employees. We're still going to stay on transport and infrastructure, and we're going to look at, depending on the size of the operation of the business, they may require different forms of transport. So I just want to highlight that one can use the road, air, ports, harbours, and even container facilities for your businesses. In South Africa, we can see these are our port systems, and during the COVID time, during level 5, all of our ports were closed. So we couldn't receive any goods, so we couldn't import anything, neither could we export anything. And that did affect our economy quite a bit. It's quite interesting to see that in Durban, there have been a lot of upgrades to our ports because this is an important transport system for businesses. My husband's business, they export certain goods and they send all their things down to Durban, so they are needing the highway to be open and moving fast so that their goods can get to the port so that they can send them out. In terms of water supply, remember every business is going to need different types of water supply and different amounts. So one can just think of a farmer or a manufacturer or a car wash. They will all need different types of supply. And so if the water supply isn't good in an area, then you possibly won't want to open your business there. The same thing goes for electricity. Some areas electricity is cheaper than in other areas, okay? So the municipalities will charge you a little less, especially if they're trying to grow a new area and they want to encourage businesses to open there. They will give you incentives. I'm going to move on to another slide now, which just looks at how much electricity we have been using in Africa. It's quite an interesting slide, and you can see that South Africa uses the most in Africa in terms of how much is consumed by one person every single year. This slide here shows how much electricity is produced and consumed in South Africa. Remember, we do also export some of our electricity, so that's an interesting one to look at. Lastly, in terms of infrastructure, we also need to be aware of the renewable resources or sources that we have in our country. And solar energy is a huge resource that we can definitely tap into and then not have to rely on electricity. There are a lot of power plants, renewable energy power plants, and this is a nice map that shows from hydropower to wind power to solar power to landfill gas. This is all the resource that we have in our country, which is a wonderful thing to have. I hope that that has helped you understand how important transport is when you're looking at a decision for location, as well as how important the supply of water and electricity is. Have a good day.